And I'm excited to be here with you today and really to share about helping to understand how to connect to the changing face of the real estate market, most importantly, how to understand that. I do want to apologize in advance if you hear a little bit of background noise. I've got a lot of multiple pieces running in behind me. So hopefully you're not going to hear too much background noise, but there's a lot of work being done. I like to say a lot of progress being done behind me. But every once in a while you may hear some noise. And so I do want to apologize in advance to that. Our goal today, guys, is really simple. We're going to make this a very engaging conversation. So along the way, as you have questions, send those through the chat. Allie and team will see those come through. They'll pause, reach out. We'll have some dialogue because I'm going to share some really great, I call them nuggets. And so every once in a while, before I get ready to share a nugget, I'm going to say, this is a nugget. When I say nugget, I really want to encourage you to write that down, write that stat down. Just came back yesterday from being out on the West Coast. I did a speaking engagement with for the Golden State Finance Authority, which is a down payment assistance, very similar to VHDA or Virginia Housing, as they call themselves now. And we were really talking about, with real estate and lenders in the room, how to really look at and connect to the marketplace to really grow your business today. And the most important thing that I want everyone to walk away from is understanding that the old business model of, as a real estate professional or a lender, or how you did business pre-pandemic, no longer applies to today's business model in what I call the new playbook. So the old playbook is no longer good, is null and void. The new playbook is what we're going to help you talk about. Is there's a marketplace that hasn't been served, that is ripe for opportunities for real estate practitioners who are looking to source and connect with new referral sources, new clients to build their business over the next 3, 5, and 10 years. So we'll talk about the business case. We'll talk about the future homeowner. Who are they? What do they look like? And most importantly, how do they want to work with a real estate practitioner? And then last but not least, a couple of takeaways that you can do to, again, reimagine, relaunch, and grow your business as a real estate practitioner. So again, not going to talk about who I am. My goal is understanding at NAMMBA, we are here for the entire industry. So whether you're in real estate, sales, operations, it doesn't matter, title, insurance, appraisal, our goal is real simple. We want to help you become a better version of yourself through training and education and supporting our partners to ultimately grow home ownership in every market across the country. So having said that, let's talk about the marketplace and the opportunities. You know, if I was in a room right now, I would say by a show of hands, and you can send over a click hand raise, how many of you would love to get an additional 1 to 3 sales per month over the next 12 to 15 months? Just raise your hand. Marcus has already raised his hand, saying, yes, Tony, I need an additional 1 to 3 sales a month, right? Okay, great. We know, guys, that right now there's a huge opportunity to, you know, everyone talks about the affordability place. We know that, yes, there are limits right now to housing in terms of the housing stock. But what you have to understand is there are a lot of potential clients who can own a home, want to own a home, or maybe don't know and understand the total process of what it takes to ultimately qualify, and if they can buy a home, because of the headline news that they see. A lot of times, you know, we go off of our day to day on headline news, meaning what you see in the newspapers, what you hear on your evening talk show hosts, et cetera. And those headline news, believe it or not, a lot of times can be really often misleading, particularly for this new demographic of buyers who have not been through many of the cyclicalness of our industry, and certainly the cyclicalness that they're experiencing today as potential first-time home buyers. The thing that I want to make sure I go back to on this first nugget, at NAMMBA, we've identified through our partnership with iEmergent a $2.9 trillion market opportunity over the next 5 years in real estate sales. So when you think about not today, but tomorrow, there's a huge opportunity as a real estate practitioner and a lender for you to connect and engage with a new market We call it the multicultural market, and I'll kind of break down what those 4 cohorts are here in just a second. But this is a $2.9 trillion market over the next 5 years. And I'm going to give you some reasons of how all of that is coming together as well. But understand, guys, that I tell originators and real estate practitioners when I speak to them, I'm more excited about the next 3 years than I am about our last 3 years. And that's because I believe that there is an opportunity, if you're a real estate practitioner or a lender, to understand that there is a new market that hasn't been served. It's not underserved, it just hasn't been served, not served. And so we want to help you connect and engage and introduce your brand and serve clients in this $2.9 multi-trillion market. When we say multicultural at NAMMBA, we're referencing really, guys, 4 cohorts: single women, millennials, communities of color, so Asian, Latino, African-American, Native American where appropriate, et cetera, in the LGBT community. When you think about the multicultural market, last year or in 2021, according to HMDA, 3 out of 4 loans were processed, 3 out of 4 borrowers were either a millennial, a community of color, or a female. And so that represents a significant opportunity if you're a real estate practitioner to be able to ultimately do more business. Here's nugget number 2 you want to write down. Here's a stat: 2 to 1. 2 to 1. For the last 3 years, according to NACE, the National Association of College Educators, women have enrolled in college at a rate of 2 to 1 than men. Now, if I'm a real estate agent today, a real estate practitioner, and I hear that, there are 2 things that come to my mind immediately when I hear that quote and that stat. The first is, if you have a son or a nephew sent into college, he's guaranteed to find the love of his life. Again, 2 to 1, guys. Women are enrolling in rate 2 to 1. So 1, not everybody's going to get married and get engaged while they're in college. But that means also when they graduate, they're going to be in a very strong position to achieve home ownership as a single female. So single females over the next 3 to 5 years are going to be an enormous source of potential buyers for real estate agents. And here's the deal. Not only are they a source in the next 3 years, but over the next decade, if you are an agent or a lender, you're going to have a chance to have 2 to 3 deals, transactions, from connecting and engaging with single women early on in their careers. Tony, what do you mean by that? Real simple. Again, numbers don't lie. If the statistic today is that 50% of women, a majority of women, will come out of college and be self-employed, have great credit, have high earnings and high earned income capacity, they're going to buy that first townhome, single family home, condo. Then at some point they will meet. So that's transaction number 1. 3 years later, 4 years later, they're going to meet that love of their life. And guess what? They're going to want to get married. Next comes the baby carriage, transaction number 2. In year 7 to year 10, as they begin to feel love and populate the home, there's growth in the career, or there's a refinance opportunity if you're an originator. So 3 transactions over a 10-year period by engaging with a single female. Now, you may say, Tony, how do I get to those single females? Well, it's really easy today. One of the most overlooked sources of cultivating a pipeline, a talent for this cohort, single females, is through education and engagement. You have a number of community colleges and universities in your current footprint in the Hampton Roads marketplace. What would happen if, as a real estate agent, I went to sororities, fraternities, professional organizations, colleges and universities, and you started providing those young women and men with an understanding to learn about home ownership to learn about what it takes to purchase a home, to learn how easy it is to own a home at the age of 23 versus 33. So connecting with young women while they're in college through strategic alliances, sororities, the college clubs, the colleges and universities themselves, churches and organizations that have youth groups, young professional organizations. These are a great way to go in and do one thing: educate. Not sell, but educate. Nugget number 3, we're going to go ahead and put it out there. Old model is sell. New model equals educate. Education. And you're going to see why. We've got some stats for you here pretty soon coming up, guys. But the new consumer of today is a consumer that wants to learn more about the product and the person than ever before. The last 3 years, the last 2.5 years, if you're a lender, all you had to do is advertise a rate, and no matter who you were, you're pretty much going to get somebody to call you. If you're an agent, all you had to do is say, hey, you need to sell your home, give me a call, and pretty much you're going to get somebody, a consumer, to call you and say, I want to help you sell my home. Now, there's some good news and bad news to that. The good news is we helped a lot of people get in homes, refinance their mortgage, and acquire home ownership over the last 2.5 years. The bad news to that is those same individuals will not be the individuals over the next 2.5, 3 years that are actually going to move, because they have a 2.5, 3%, 4% rate. And mentally, they are attached to that rate right now, based on today's headlines. Mortgage interest rate 6.5%, 6.75%, whatever the case, 6.25. And they see that and they're like, wow, I don't want to move right now. I'm happy, or I'll become happy. So if you understand that, guys, what that means is the old model and the old client of who we're going after has radically changed. The multicultural market represents a significant opportunity as a real estate practitioner to grow your business. And the way that you're going to do that is understand how to connect and engage to this cohort: single women, communities of color, millennials, and the LGBT community. That's where, by connecting and engaging how they want you to connect and engage, you're going to be able to position your brand to not just survive, but thrive. So let's talk about the changing face of the real estate market. Every year at Cultural Outreach, I want to also introduce Jennifer Norton, who's our Associate Director for Cultural Outreach. Jennifer is one of my teammates at NAMMBA. We have a multicultural marketing arm. All we do every day, every year, every month, every week is help lenders, help real estate firms, help agents and originators understand how to connect and engage to the multicultural market. And again, when we say multicultural market at NAMMBA and Cultural Outreach, 4 cohorts: single female, millennials, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, communities of color, we're going to talk about as well, and then LGBTQ. Those 4, in my opinion, if I'm an agent, I'm focused on making sure I understand how to connect and build my business in those 4 cohorts over the next 3, 5, 10 years if you're looking to really grow. So every year we survey 1,000 millennials. We create a report, what we call a NextGen Homebuyer report. Awesome information, guys, and I'm going to give you some pieces of this. It's a real detailed report. We survey millennials of all different ethnicities in every different MSA in every city across the country. And so what we find out and hear from these millennials and next-gen home buyers helps us understand how to market to them. And so we're going to give you that secret sauce. And by the way, while we're at it, speaking of secret sauce, the secret sauce to helping you grow your business is having a great relationship and a great partner. And obviously, those who are on the call today truly understand and know that Tidewater Home Funding and Benchmark Mortgage are committed to helping you as a real estate practitioner grow your business, serve more clients. And so I want to give a shout out to the team over at Tidewater and Benchmark for their commitment to investing in you, and most importantly, being your partner, because that's what it's about in today's environment, in today's market, is having a partner that we can collaborate together to grow together. Now more than ever, collaboration is key. So shout out, because I want to make sure I acknowledge really the love and passion of the organization to help the agents that it does business with do more business. We're going to help you do more business by helping you understand, first and foremost, data. I tell every CEO, every real estate president, every real estate agent, every lender who I work with, you have to first understand data. And data is the first part to building a business that can ultimately help you grow and dominate and have the success you want to have, achieve the life you want to achieve, and then most importantly, help people in your community. So a little bit of information about this 1,000 cohorts that we interviewed. 50% were male, again, 50% female. The age range was 18 to 41. About 42% were looking to buy a home within the first next 3 years. 13% of those had already purchased a home as well. And then 44% were looking to buy a home within the next 12 months. And again, guys, as we start going through this, if you have any questions, love to kind of connect with you around that. Looking at the respondents breakdown, on the left-hand side of your screen, you see the breakdown by ethnicity. So we had Asian cohort, 31% about African-American, 46% white, 6% identified themselves as other, 19 were of Hispanic or Latino origin, and then 4% Native American. So very diverse group for us in terms of really giving us feedback, both in terms of geography, in terms of age, and also in terms of ethnicity. The right slide just kind of shows, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself, as well as the education breakdown of your parents. We also went on further to say, tell us a little bit about your income and your credit score. So if you see here, the bulk of the respondents and participants were making somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a year. So again, depending on where you are, $50,000 is a great first-time home buyer in the Hampton Roads market for a condo, townhome, et cetera. If you're in California, you're probably making a little bit more money as a first-time home buyer or respondent based on, again, the MSA that you're living in. On a credit score perspective, the right slides kind of just shows, guys, what the credit scores of these participants look like. Essentially, 670 to 739, about 30%. 740 to 799 to 20%, or over 9% had about 800 or above. And only 8% say, hey, I don't know, what our credit score is. So once we understand a little bit about the demographics, let's talk a little bit about resources. And we say, tell us about how you learn about financial education, financial awareness, the home buying process. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into this and peel the onion back here a little bit, guys, so stay with me. But first and foremost, 67% you see there went to Google. But at the same time, when you think about social media is now the top form of learning, the top form of education, and the top form of engagement for the new emerging buyer. Now, I'm not even going to say emerging, they're already here. So if I'm a real estate agent, if I'm a lender, I have to start thinking about how will this new consumer, how will they know who I am, what I do, and most importantly, how I'm different than my competitors. Social media is going to be a big way around that. Top 3 areas: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Also, we said, where else do you go? 43% go to bank, 53% go to family and friends. You see parents, mortgage brokers, magazines, and the likes. in terms of other educational resources. But really at the end of the day, that social media piece, I only believe will continue to become stronger and stronger over the next 3 to 5 years. We also said, tell us a little bit about, for those who bought a home, how was that experience? 84% said basically they were satisfied or very satisfied, which is pretty good. However, you're going to see some other data points that will, make you scratch your head and think about, as a real estate practitioner and practitioner, what can you do better to serve and understand how to serve this market? That's why we're here today. And then about 4 of the 7% said they were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied. When we talk about home buying experiences and the challenges, we say, okay, help us understand what some of your biggest challenges are right now to buying a home. Obviously, affordability is there. It will continue to be there, but there are homes on the market for this cohort of buyers. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the best practices of how to connect and engage with those cohorts and introduce them to opportunities. Because we just said earlier, guys, that today's home buyer will potentially over the next decade result into 3 transactions if you're a real estate originator, and for sure 2 transactions potentially for sure if you are a real estate agent. So if you start multiplying that and say every new multicultural buyer I get, the next gen buyer, this is a 2 for 1. For every one I get, I'm getting 2 transactions. If I keep in touch, I leverage my CRM, huge opportunity to talk about customer for life, referral partners in terms of getting referrals. Understand the process and the time. Saving for down payment is always a big challenge and concern. Deciding where to buy. Only 4% said, hey, having trouble finding a real estate agent. Why is that? Because they do a very good job of sourcing and reading and looking at and researching content on social media. So most of the time they don't have an issue of identifying an agent. They just want to make sure that whoever they identify is someone that really they can connect and engage with. From a loan officer standpoint, we always like to say, tell us how you found your loan officer. Always very interesting in what we see here. But essentially, you'll notice here on the left in the pie, 24% found their loan officer through a recommendation of their real estate agent. 30%, 32 to be exact, from a family or friend. 6% from social media, 9% from a first-time home buyer counselor. So nugget number 4, home buying counseling agencies are great sources of referrals for the next gen home buyer. Reason for that is a lot of times this cohort is looking at and interested in owning a home. They may not have even began the search online for an agent, but they may have come into contact via an initiative with their church or a community outreach organization, or maybe they've come across saying, hey, I want to buy a home, but the first thing I need to do is get educated on the home buying process. And so reaching out and offering to partner with home buying agencies that do financial literacy counseling and home buying certification to offer your experience to come in as a realtor, as a thought leader in your local market to help educate those new buyers around what it takes from a real estate side of the transaction, and then bring in your local partner, your local loan originator from Tidewater Home Funding or Benchmark Mortgage, and take them with you so that they can talk about the mortgage and loan process. You've got a huge new source of home ownership in terms of lead gen. I've done first-time home buyer seminars, and when I talk to some of the LOs that I help coach today, they can do a home buying seminar where anywhere between 25 to 50, maybe even 75 to 100 people will show up. I was hearing someone last week tell me they did a home buying seminar with a local church, and they had 150 people attend to learn about buying a home. 150. So looking at new ways that you can connect to this new client is really important. Home buying agencies is one way to do that. And then last but not least, on the loan officer side, about 59% say, hey, the reviews are very important to them. When you look at the real estate side, that's most important today. We have a lot of agents on the call. The goal that they say is, how'd you find your agent? 39%, family or friend. So how important is their CRM and keeping in touch? 8% through the home buying agency, 9% kind of recommended from their bank. But then if you look between social media and online, you're talking 37 percent of the population. And so almost 4 out of 10 really at the end of the day are going online to understand how they can find a realtor, who that realtor is. And then most importantly, 60% said that they look at and really consider the reviews of that agent. Are you focused on showing how you're helping people achieve home ownership? Are you focusing on positioning yourself as a thought leader? And so again, old school is sell. New school is educate, educate, educate. This cohort, 18 to 40, 36, education is what they espouse and what they appreciate and want the most. Educate me, and then I can help through that education piece, understand and learn more about you. So as an agent, what does your site say? How do you market your brand? And if you're only marketing, buy with me, sell with me, list with me, but you're really not educating, the clients you want today are the folks that don't own a home. How we're marketing today is how we marketed over the last 3 years. And we have to pivot and understand that there's now a new cohort of prospective buyers. When you talk about current and future buyers, again, we're asking them, what is their biggest concern? Will my home be a good investment? Home ownership is one of the best investments. But if we don't educate them about that investment and we're trying to sell to them, then that creates some questions of, hey, is this the right thing for me to do right now? Obviously, affordability, will I be able to afford my mortgage and saving for a down payment are big as well. But the ability to help your potential buyers understand through education and engagement that home ownership is a great investment. Also, this slide here just talks a little bit about their personal finances. How often do you discuss, or did you discuss this with your parents? And so this chart just kind of shows a little bit about what happens around those conversations. The reason why I point this out is really simple. A lot of times in this cohort, single females, particularly females of color or communities of color, financial conversations don't always occur. And so this is a great opportunity as we move forward to really understand the education piece is so critical. This is why we're telling all of our partners and originators and successful agents, you now have to switch how you market to education marketing. Nugget number 5, pivot from marketing to education marketing. Tony, what is education marketing? Education marketing is adding value before you're selling. Giving value to the client for free. Giving value to demonstrate your thought leadership, your experience, your technical capacity of being a subject matter expert in your space, in your local market. That is now going to be priceless. And for those who understand and have the ability to do that, and then do that on social media, you're going to see a lot of people reach out and say, I'm looking and interested to buy a home. I saw you on social media, and I would really love to learn more about seeing if you can help me buy a home. More than half of the respondents, 60%, grew up learning about how to budget and finance, but you're still talking about 4 out of 10. And so again, the education piece is an opportunity, guys, as a real estate practitioner. Now, One of the things that we always do every year, which is a very interesting fact, we like to ask the question, what's the perception of how they see real estate agents as well as their lenders? And again, 1,000 respondents. So statistically, these numbers are correct. Only 47% of this population, the millennials, the survey said that they saw and viewed their real estate agent as trustworthy and reliable. You guys did, congratulations, a little bit better. If you're an originator, only 44% thought that their lender was trustworthy and reliable. Now, Tony, what does this say? What does it mean? Again, old school, new school. If you think about it, guys, last 3 years, all we've done is sell, 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 rate, buy a home, pick your dreams, we can make it come true. Sell, sell, sell. New school is different bar, different approach, educate, educate, educate. If you try to sell to this cohort, you're going to have very limited success because one, they want to learn and focus on who you are. They want to see what do you care about, and they want to see if you're authentic, meaning as they look and research you online, do they see you giving back? Do they see you with a picture at a first-time home buyer speaking, saying, hey, had a great time today, helping new prospective homeowners understand the journey of the real estate transaction. Okay, this person is giving back. This person really cares about home ownership. They're taking the time out of their schedule to go and train and educate potential consumers like me. If you sell, 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 you're going to end up with less than 50% of your clients in this new segment. That's the thing that we got to remember, guys. This is tomorrow's buyers today. The people who you want are not these individuals and the customers who have a 3.54% rate. They're the millennials, the single females, who quite honestly don't even know what a 3.54% interest rate looks like. They just want to know what it takes to own a home and to be able to buy a home. So our job is to connect with them, engage them, and most importantly, educate them. We'll talk about some ways that you can do that. We've also got some exciting resources that we can share for you as well. We talked a little bit about COVID and, that COVID changed your perception of owning a home. And for the most part, most respondents said that, hey, while they had a negative impact on their employment, they still have a positive outlook for buying a home. So we've got a couple minutes here. I'm going to kind of go in deep a little bit and share with you ways that you can communicate to this cohort, this new buyer, the new face of home ownership, the multicultural market. Preferred method of communication. Obviously, you see emails, phone calls, face-to-face, text messaging, and video. Now, video is at 25%, but what I would tell you is over the next 3 years, video calls are going to become more and more relevant and also a more preferred method of choice. We know that time is important. Time is valuable. Again, I just came from California yesterday, and just to drive from downtown California to Westlake took me an hour and 15 minutes. And it was only 30 miles, I think 27 miles or something to that extent. So depending on where you live at, we know that right now, most consumers, particularly young, multicultural consumers, they value their time. And so this message here on the left, the point that I want to make and illustrate is you're going to have an omni-channel approach, meaning multiple ways that you connect and engage with them. Once you get them, it may be a text. At some point, it'll be, hey, can we meet and come down to your office? Oftentimes, it will be a call or an email. And then over time, they're going to want to just do a video call with you. So if you're an agent or a lender and you're not quite comfortable with video, understand this cohort. is very comfortable with video and text. And those are things that you're gonna have to understand that we're gonna have to pivot and become more proficient in. What are the top 5 social media platforms? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. Now, Facebook right now is number 2, but what we would tell you from millennials, it is YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. One of the misnomers that I like to think about around TikTok, when everyone hears TikTok, they're always thinking that I gotta make it fun, I gotta make it a parody, I gotta dance. No, TikTok is just becoming more of an educational forum, just like YouTube is. Now, YouTube is certainly taking off as being, if you want to learn anything about anything and how to do it, go to YouTube. But TikTok is where, if you're not afraid to get on camera and be authentic and be yourself, you can also be able to garner and build credibility. When I was in Riverside, California this week, I had the pleasure of meeting a guy by the name of Bill. And Bill was a white male, 62 or 63 years old. He was sitting on the front row. And I didn't even know Bill until this week. But at the end of our presentation and the end of my training session, Bill came out and said, "Hey, Tony, can I do a quick video with you?" And he did a video back of the room, 30 seconds of me and Bill. He held up his phone, and Bill was just talking about the importance of home ownership. He did not even mention anything about selling. He just talked about the importance of home ownership and how it can help families and how people build generational wealth, and that he was there for anyone who wants to achieve that and have that he's committed to helping them, whether it's today or tomorrow. Little short 30-second clip. And I said, "Hey, Bill, this is cool, man." He said, "I'm getting ready to post this right now, Tony." And then he proceeded to show me some of his other postings that he had over the last 2 weeks. 85,000 viewers on Instagram. 85,000 views. I'm like, "Bill, my brother from another mother, dude, you're doing it, you know?" But if Bill can do it, the message I want to tell each of you this morning is you can do it. It's just with social media, a lot of times people are afraid to get in front of the camera. What I tell agents and lenders real simple is, if you be yourself and everyone sees that you're authentic, that's who they want to do business with. People who are authentic, genuine, and again, look like and feel like, and they see based on what they see and how they see your site, that you are trustworthy. So really important thing to understand, guys, that now more than ever, getting out there and just talking and educating is going to help you really build your business. So got a few minutes here for some quick questions. Key takeaway, number 1, pivot from selling to educating. Now more than ever, it is going to be important to educate the consumers. 2, what's your social media strategy? Whether you love it or hate it, the new consumer, let's go back here. The new consumer, look at that bottom, spends 3 to 5 or more than 6 hours per day. Oh my gosh, they may not have a job. Just joking, they do. But 3.5 to 5 hours a day, 4 out of 10, and over 50% is somewhere between 3 to 6 hours. They're doing a lot of surfing, guys. So think about that. You've got to be looking at and thinking about reimagining your brand on social media to connect and engage with the new buyer of tomorrow, the new face of real estate. Women, single women, millennials, communities of color, Asian, Latino, African American, Native American, and the LGBT community. If you understand where, someone once asked the great Wayne Gretzky, "Wayne, why are you so successful?" Wayne paused and he looked up and said, I always skate to where the puck is headed and not to where the puck is at. Today, my friends, the consumer of yesterday is not your consumer of today and your consumer of tomorrow. Your consumer of tomorrow is a huge opportunity in the multicultural space, but understanding how to connect and engage, build and establish trust as a thought leader first is how you will grow your sales in the future. Al, we're going to stop and see if there are any questions that anyone has.
That was great. Thank you, Tony. Does anybody have any questions for him? Feel free to unmute yourself, put a question in the chat if you have any questions or comments for Tony. I know I wrote myself some screenshots down that I'll be reusing for some other things.
Tony, Marcus did have a question while you were talking about using that one slide about the email and the communications, that social media slide. And I think that would be great if you could just post that up one more quick time in case anyone wants to get a screenshot of that.
So this is the social media one?
The one you spent a bit of time on. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one.
Great.
Thank you.
And speaking of social media real quick, Jennifer, one of the things that we've done, guys, is at NAMMBA through Cultural Outreach, which is our multicultural marketing arm of NAMMBA, we realized that a lot of real estate practitioners and lenders, I'm not a social media guru. I'm on social media, but I'm not on social media. And so I understand, and we understand that sometimes getting and positioning yourself as a thought leader, Tony, how do I do that? What research do I do? What do I say? What do I don't say? And we've made it really easy and something that we've created as a new resource for agents and lenders called Multicultural Marketing on Demand. And so for folks that really want to connect to this segment and essentially become a thought expert without having to do all the work, we've developed something called Multicultural on Demand that goes out, launches on May 1st. To help you really reach the young and diverse markets. And so Jennifer, if you can just quickly just share a bullet of how people can just sign up to learn about this and how they can build their social media presence, that would be great as well.
Sure. Thanks, Tony. Hi, I'm Jennifer Norton, and I'm the Director of Client Success at Cultural Outreach. And as Tony mentioned, we work in the NAMMBA family of companies. We're the multicultural marketing arm, and our goal is to help loan officers and realtors make sure that they are understanding social media, best practices, all kinds of training. And so we created something that we think will really help everyone. And this piggybacks perfectly off that slide that Tony spent some time on. A lot of people struggle with what to say, what to post, how often to post. So we've taken all that magic guesswork out of that, and we created what we call MMOD. It's Multicultural Marketing on Demand. And what it does is it allows people, realtors and loan officers, to sign up to receive these graphics every month. We create them. They're multiculturally diverse. They reach all the different segments Tony mentioned: women, minorities, underserved markets, all the different pockets. We also, of course, reach out on all the different calendar holidays throughout the year, Hispanic Heritage Month, history months for different cultures, etc. So this launches May 1st, which is really soon, and we've created this QR code for you right here. If you all just want to take a picture of that, what that'll do is it'll prompt you to fill out a super short form. It's just your name and your email address. And that just puts you on an interest list. And then when this launches, we'll send you an email saying, hey, this is open and available, and we're here for you. What this does is it allows you to receive content from us. You can just take it directly and it's ready to post. So it allows you to put in your headshot, your contact information, your licensing info, and then you can post. You can post everywhere. So this helps balance out whatever else you might already be using to post for yourselves. This adds to your knowledge bank, making you look like that educational provider, so that you're not seeming so salesy, but more like in contact with people and there for them. So if you all would like to take a picture of that QR code right over here, that'll just put you on that interest list, and we'll be happy to reach out to you and help you get set up.